Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and as you can see today it's all about Altar Quest. I'm starting my playthrough today. Altar Quest is based on the series like I think it was Street Masters and Brook City. I did a playthrough of Brook City before and yeah, this is pretty much the third installment of the gaming system here. I would say it has it's a tribute to Hero Quest to some extent, but it's definitely standing on its own. So it's really not a copy in any way. There are some elements which might look familiar to you, some of the features at least, but the game on its own is really, really a unique game. I decided to do a solo playthrough of this game and my choice was Marine Deval. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. I played this game a couple of times already in solo and in two-player fashion. Rest assured, I will still miss a lot of rules. The rulebook, I believe everything more or less is in there, but it's really not in the right order. And again, I have a handy-dandy and great overview that I found on the Geek, and I will definitely post a tribute to the contributor of this awesome handout here, because that's the one I really need in order not to forget too many things. Still, rest assured, I will forget certain effects, certain abilities, certain cards and whatnot. Even though the game itself is really not complicated, but yeah, it really comes with a ton of stuff that you have to take care of. That's also the main reason why I really decided to go for a solo playthrough, and I believe it kind of works okay. So again, I played it solo and I felt it to be fair, at least the mission I played, and that's the search, which is kind of the introductory mission of this game. I think the base game comes with 6 of those quests, and again I'm playing with the search. I have the Kickstarter expansion box. I use some of the components from it, some of the trap miniatures, the colored dice, the element dice for example, and some of the feature cards, but apart from that I will really focus on the base game as it is. I will not play with the frogs. I will use these piglets. The Gert, I believe, is the villain in those, and I think the Raglanders are the threat deck accordingly. But apart from that, it will be a very, let's say, simple quote-unquote experience here. And the idea of this game is, or of this mission is, we have to find the altar room. That's, I believe, true for all of the scenarios to some extent. And in this particular scenario, I have to find a combination of 2 matching clue cards, which I will find in some of those rules. I have a random altar right next to our quest card here, the Quaking Altar. When it activates, each hero may discard 1 armor token to change 1 altar die to result of their choice. And yeah, each hero in the altar's room may gain an armor token. That's not too bad. And when we are triggering this, I think, rune here, each figure gains 1 armor token, and figure really means figure. This also includes the enemies. Luckily, I do not have to defeat all of those enemies. I have a fighty kind of character, so I should be able to deal out some damage. But again, my goal is not to finish off all of those Raglanders, so I definitely need to make sure that I'm not getting swarmed by those. As mentioned, the villain for today is Gert. There is a miniature somewhere in the box. We will not see it just yet when we are running out of those boss cards here, and I can't remember how many those are, so maybe 12, 10, I don't know. So when we are no longer able to draw a card, then Gert will show up. Comes with some rules. There is also some backstory for this, but let's not really get into this. It's interesting, it's nice, but nothing really that we need to do some reading. So there is really not a lot of narrative going on in this game. There is a campaign though, which is definitely interesting. So maybe I want to consider playing this on camera too. Depends really a little bit on your interest. But for today, we are doing this one-off missions. Gert will lead the Raglanders into combat here, and those are the minis. I think there are some more minis depending on if we are finding a lurker or not, but this will be pretty much the force we are fighting against. And you can mix and match like in Brook City. You can take this villain with that threat deck and playing against that quest, for example. So there's really a ton of replayability. In Brook City, there were really some problems in respect to balancing when you went too crazy in mixing those things. I have no clue if that's the same thing here. Again, I only played a couple of those quests and they seem to be okay for my taste. Nothing felt too easy and also not too impossible to beat. So, but let's see about this. With this one here, I'm relatively certain it's just their starter. Pretty sure they have tested this fairly well. The Regulators come with their own little threat token cards, so they all come, though there's this threat token mechanic in this game. Each of the threat deck has different use of those threat tokens. Here it's, I think, some stench. Threat tokens represent the unpleasant stench Regulators give off, which increases in potency as they become enraged. Before a minion with the threat tokens would activate, each character in its room must resist, and I think that's the Fortitude. X, where X equals the number of threat tokens on the minion card. And again, we have to roll that many successes to resist that. Otherwise, if I'm not resisting for everything I'm not resisting against, I take a wound. Simple as that. In respect to our hero, Marine or Maureen Duval, beckoning stand. So that's our fierce warriors here. She looks kind of vampiric to me, and I think she is. So we have those two equipment. We have an offhand, a shield, and we have a weapon here, the Marine's Blade, which we can use to attack. We can use it to exhaust. I will explain all those mechanics as I go. Those are our attributes, telling us how many dice we are rolling for specific tests. She seems to be rather balanced. I mean, she has a strong fortitude. And what's the brown one? The intellect one, not so pride, it seems. She has a base defense of 1. She has 14 hit points, which is good for a solo character. And again, we are trying to find the altar and some clues. In order to do that, we have to move around the board here, and that's pretty much a preset. So it's a dungeon crawler, but we are not building this dungeon as we go. All the rooms are pre-printed here, but it's a little bit on us which door we are going to open, in which order we are doing things. So in the end, it will still feel like a dungeon explore to some extent, and because of some of the randomness in respect to the features, every time the game will definitely look somewhat differently. And I think that's the map from the expansion. It looks a little bit different. I don't even sure if it has different rooms set up, actually, if it's just a visual thing. I think it's more like a visual thing, but I might be completely wrong, and maybe I shouldn't use it at all in this playthrough. But again, I wanted to give some of the extra stuff a spin here on the channel. So yeah, let's see how things work out. So again, we have to start moving, and overall we have 3 actions we can take, and the heroes will always go first before we are handing things over to the villains, the thread and the quest area, for example. But we have 3 actions. Not everything that we do will be an action, like exploring a new room. That's something that's typically a freebie. The same is true for feed cards and stuff, but a lot of these things everywhere where it says action, that's something that you have to do. On top of this, we have this helpful little overview here, which also tells me what an actual action is. So like moving, like drawing cards, like resting or channeling, those are really actions where we have to spend one of our tokens here or flip them to the other side. Again, I need to move. Unfortunately, none of my starting cards here come with extra movement, it seems, and that's where I'm a little bit spoiled. I was using 2 other heroes, so this is the first time I'm playing with Marine, by the way, so bear with me here. I have no clue how to play her effectively, but I wanted to try something new. But the other 2 heroes, or 3 heroes I checked out, they all came with a special ability which let them use, for example, one of those rune dice up there to let us move 2 spaces. So in this case, it really seems in order to move, we really have to spend an action. So let's do that. And we can pretty much move freely around this board here. We cannot move through enemy figures or some of the features that will show up, and we can move diagonally. So that's completely up to us. And I think, yeah, this is 2 spaces away, but I think that as far as I understood the rules, that's the one piece we can interrupt the movement to open that door, and then we could still move ahead. On the other hand, we can simply also move down here, and I think it doesn't really matter in which orientation these stairs now are. So maybe we could look in here, because that's a big room here. Yeah, let's do that. So we are moving 1, 2, 3 spaces in here, and then as a free action we will reveal this room here. So we will place this amazing looking door. Unfortunately, it doesn't really open. The first time I saw those, I really tried to open and close those doors, but no, that's not what those are, but they are still amazing. So we have opened this room here. The next thing is we are going to draw, what is it? I keep forgetting the order of things. Yeah, we will start with the feature card, and the altar will be somewhere in the bottom 3 cards of the deck. I think we have an 8-card deck, and the last 3, the altar should be in there somewhere. And here we have a garbage heap, and I think that's already one from the expansion. Now that's nice. And again, I haven't checked those out in any way. I have no clue. This is really a blind playthrough for me in respect to these new feed cards here, or feature cards. So what does it do? Activate a hero adjacent to this feature may place 1 search token on this card to gain 1 discarded search card. Oof. Yeah, that's a little bit too early. We haven't discarded anything yet. Or we can interact with it to search, and then you may discard the top card of the search deck. Okay, let's place the garbage heap first. And those features always go to the feature space. So if it's a 1 size feature, it goes to this double arrow. If it's a 2 size feature, it goes to the white. And if it's a full size feature, it covers all of those things. And here's the problem: it's really far from where we are currently. So I think this was already a very bad choice actually, to go to this room, but still it would allow me to move into any sorts of direction. So I'm still okay with that decision. So we are basically having this, and I think next we are drawing the quest card. Exactly, and the quest card always goes with the feature. And here we have the mystical hour, and I think this is some text we are going to read, because a little bit of narrative is definitely in here. Mystical aura. You can feel the presence of something arcane here in this garbage pile. It is pulling you, telling you that the item you seek is nearby. Everything in the room looks mundane and devoid of enchantment, but the air that hangs heavy around the furnishings assure you that old power curses and thrives through the ground beneath your feet. When revealed, attach this card to this room's feature card, so it goes next to the garbage pile. Then each hero may discard 1 focus to change an altar tied to a result of their choice. Right now we don't have any focus tokens whatsoever, so we are basically missing out on this thing, but it's not the end of the world. It activates during the quest step of this round. A hero adjacent to the attached feature card may draw a card from the clue deck. So that's the way how we can find the clues. Then if a hero takes control of a clue card, discard this card. So yeah, that's definitely something we are going to do. So we are placing it next to the quest pile here. According, I may have to rearrange stuff in a second, but unfortunately that's not all, because last but not least, each hero, and currently there is only 1 hero, needs to draw a threat card. And so we are getting some enemies onto the board. Wrangling Burner. That's a minion. It comes with 1 defense, 6 health points, and yeah, it gets range attack. That's a terrible one actually. When it activates, it will engage, so pretty much moving closer to us, so it can start doing some damage. I think it doesn't have to. If unable to engage, and gain 1 armor token, and if this is there, yeah, it is. It will also trigger this one, though that's definitely kind of a bummer. So something we may have to think about this. But let's spawn that enemy. This diamond here tells us it's the yellow one, and it goes to the shadow space of the room we have just revealed. So this fella is definitely in range, and I think these are dynamite and bombs and whatever this guy is throwing at us. And because we are in a connected door space, he sees us and we see them. So that's definitely something to consider, but it's our turn. So there is a chance we might at least do some damage or prepare us. And really trying to make sure we are getting rid maybe of this diamond here, of this symbol, because again, yeah, it will inflict 4. This can really do a hell of a lot of damage to us. But okay, that's pretty much it. This goes into our threat area where we have to resolve it when we are coming to the threat step, but it's still our turn, so we can still do stuff against our enemies here. And this is where we are, when we are looking at our weapon here, Marine's Blade, it has a range of 1, so we have to be adjacent. We can attack, I think our, oh, what is it? It's the might. The might is a 2 only. But if we exhaust the flame, we don't have flame, deal 1 damage to an enemy within range. Yeah, I think we definitely have to exhaust those 2 just to try to get rid of those symbols here, because those are the altar rooms that are currently available, and that's kind of similar to a Mage Knight, for example, where you can use those dice to, I don't know, optimize or empower your cards or your ability. But the problem is, so will our enemies too. And again, we know that our Wrangling Burner is trying to use this diamond. It's not a diamond, I think it's the earth element actually. And yeah, there are 2 of those. So and whenever we are using it, we are immediately re-rolling that die. So there is a chance at least that a new result will show up. And we have those abilities at hand. The problem now is, can we use it effectively? I think we can. I think we will exhaust this card. And the cool thing about this game, and also like Brook City, even though we are exhausting this card, we can still use the action on top of this. And we can use the action more than once if we want to. But only the exhaust effect is something that we have to take care of right away. So we have to exhaust it. And this tells us if we are now spending 1 of those earth runes, and we are re-rolling it right away. And that's, what is this? Shadow. Okay, so we have a shadow token now, but this gives us 1 defense token. That's never a bad thing, which we can then later on spend to defend ourselves. This wasn't an action anyway, we simply exhausted this equipment card here. And then we have still the beckoning stance here. We could exhaust another of those earth tokens. And this says, choose an enemy within range, move that enemy up to 3 spaces toward you. And I think that's actually not a bad thing, because then we can immediately use this plate. Yeah, let's totally do that. So we are exhausting this ability here too. We are rolling that die. Again, a shadow. I was really hoping for the flame. But again, this allows us to move an enemy within range. And again, this fella is in range because we are in a connected door space. If we would be here, this would not be in range, because those rooms are typically not interconnected. Even if there would be a straight line, it would still not count as being in range. But because I'm in the connected door space, I'm okay to do that. And yeah, it's definitely in range. So 1 and 2, we are moving it here to our space in the door. Question is, do I want it there? Yeah, I think so. We were trying to get rid of it, I guess. And that was still not an action. We simply exhausted another card without an action. But I guess now it's really time to use an action. And that will be Marine's Blade here. So again, we have to flip 1 of our tokens. It's really a pity that we can't use the exhaust effect down there. Can we? No, we can't, but I could have used a different card. I just noticed it, but I think that's still okay. No, I think that's still okay. So I guess we are finally starting to roll some actual dice here. Our attack rating here is the might one. Unfortunately, we only have 2 dice to roll here, and we don't have any supplies whatsoever, which could give us some bonus dice. And I think there is nothing else we can do. I'm still going to do that, actually. Yeah, let's do that. So we are rolling those dice, and then we are resolving those. That's an exploding die, which means it counts as a hit, which is definitely a good thing. But we also get to roll another die. So that's 2 hits already. And okay, that's 3 hits. We were not able to gain any focus token, but 3 hits is definitely better than 0 hits. Problem is, the Wrangling Burner has a base defense of 1, so we are only inflicting 2 points worth of damage. So we need 4 more to go. But we still have 1 more action left, so I think it's still okay. Maybe we are going for this. Oh no, that's a feat actually. It's not even an action. If pass, deal 2 damage to an enemy within range to heal 2 damage. We don't have any damage, but still it could be worth it actually. The thing is, we can still use that action again, the play. It's not limited to once per turn in any way. Again, even if it would have been exhausted, it wouldn't make a difference. What do we have here? No exploits around. It's a search card. The Battle Lust is, I think, the card we should have played on the back here. Or we are going for the Duval Warcry here because we could gain some armor tokens. Let's do that. It's a feat, and that feat says test, I think, charisma. I think so, yeah. For each success, either gain 1 armor token or discard 1 armor token from an enemy within range. It's a feat, it's not an action. Again, it's not an action. So we are rolling our, what is it again? Fortitude, right? That's 3 dice. That's our strong suit. So we are rolling 3 dice, right? No, it's charisma. It's not for the other one was. So that's 2. Okay, that's 2 dice. That's still okay. I take it. Okay, that's 2 successes and 1 focus. If we would have a focus token, we could transform this into a success. But in this case, we don't have any focus. But that's still okay. We will use those 2 damage to inflict 1 point of damage. Keep in mind, they still have 1 piece of armor. But because of this, we would gain 1 focus token. And now I'm out of focus tokens. No, here they are really, this game comes with a ton of those focus tokens, which I can then use with my next test, for example, to, yeah, pretty much transform this result into a success. We are not done yet. We still have 1 more action left. And I think let's spend this action to use our plate again. We are placing it here again. I can use it more than once. We are rolling 2 dice again. We still don't have this, but we have this. Let's not forget this. We have this ability here at the bottom. Deal 1 damage to an enemy within range. So we are doing this. We have the shadow one clearly in range. We are rolling this. I think that's air. I guess it's air. I think it's air. So we are dealing 1 damage. And dealing 1 damage, the armor doesn't help you in this case. So down to 4 or up to 4 damage now. We need 2 more to go, but it's very unlikely that we are rolling 3 successes with 2 more dice. Again, this was the last action. Fortunately, we didn't roll a fire token here, and that's 3. Amazing. So we can spend now this focus token, which can be bad now in a second, but I will still spend it here. So in total, those are 3 successes, which is actually enough to kill the Wreckling Burner here. Awesome. That's amazing. That's off to a good start in this case, because we killed a minion. We are getting one of those supplies. That's one of the things that you're typically forgetting. And then this card is pretty much out of here before it was able to engage. Amazing. After we have done all our actions, I could still play some feats. I believe it's possible actually. So I can still play feats even though I ran out of action tokens. That's my understanding. But I will call it a day. I think we are done yet here. After resolving the act phase, the active hero draws 1 card and flips their turn card. And here we got Biting Distance. For each enemy within range, you may roll 1 altar die, then attack with Fortitude. Wow, that's an amazing action card here. I already start to like her a lot. We are flipping over the hero card here, which means we are now moving into the threat turn. We don't have any threat in our threat area. That's amazing because we have just gotten rid of this evil dude here. Amazing. So we are immediately moving into the villain turn. So we do what it says on the activate here. Activate, each hero must either discard 1 armor token. We have 1. Or resist 3. What's this blue? That's willpower. That's our willpower. We have an armor token, so I think, yeah, let's spend that armor token. We don't really need it right now. And each minion would gain an armor token for this earth symbol. There aren't any minions. We don't have that token. We would still use that die, though. I think that's definitely something that, at least as far as I understood, even though it's not triggering anything, we would still use it now if it would be there. But yeah, again, we don't have that die. And the last thing to do is to draw a villain card, also something which you typically tend to forget. And in this case, it's Thunderous Stump, an event. Each hero must test Fortitude and needs 3 successes. Each hero who fails must either discard 1 armor token or suffer 1 damage. I think that's really not the worst thing in the world. So we have 3 dice. That's Fortitude now, right? Yeah, this now is it. Okay, and ooh, that's certainly not enough. Okay, we can now discard an armor token, which we don't have, but ultimately that's a great. We have 1 success, but I couldn't care less. We take that hit, but what this means for every symbol we are seeing, we cannot use for the focus. We are getting 3 focus tokens in total. I think that's still something. There is a limit of 5 per hero, but overall that's still okay, and we simply take a wound for this Thunderous Stomp here again. This armor doesn't really help us in this. This is really direct damage. We simply have to deal with it. Then we are discarding the villain card, and I'm moving over to our quest area. If there is 1 P quest token on this card, so basically we need 1 of those, and we are on the stairs tiles, and we have found the altar, I believe, right? I think so, yeah. No, we don't have to find the altar in this case. That's one of the scenarios, right? We can win this game before we actually find the altar, I believe. Okay, now we activate it. Each hero who controls a clue card, we don't have a clue card, must either discard 1 focus for each clue card they control, or we simply have to resist. If there is 1 P quest token on this card, each hero must draw 1 threat card. Again, if there would be 1 P quest token on this card, we would have won the game. And if it would be on the stairs tile, that is. So we can basically skip over this. So we are moving over to the Quaking Altar. Again, we could discard an armor token to change 1 altar die. Again, we don't have any of those. We will not trigger this. That's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. And last but not least, we would now activate the Garbage Heap here. A hero adjacent to this feature, we are not adjacent. And I think here the activation, we are also not adjacent to it, so we can also skip over that, and that's pretty much the end of round 1. I guess let's do 1 more for this video. So we are moving back to our hero. We are refreshing all of our cards. We are refreshing our action tokens. And then we will do all things over again with 3 actions and 3 focus tokens. And we have a supply which we can use to roll an additional die, or we can use it to heal or to rest in this case. So overall, definitely a cool thing. The problem is we are still very, very far from the feature. Yeah, again, with a hero that can move extra spaces through some of the equipment stuff, that's not a problem, but she seems to be very lame actually. Yeah, there are some cool action cards which you can use to move and trigger stuff, and now I think I really regretted not have played the Battle Lust, but I will not take it back. So I think we will simply spend 1 action. Yeah, we have to start moving, right? 1. We cannot move through a door diagonally. I think that's the ultimate truth for a lot of those dungeon crawlers or these things. You have to move through them in a straight line. We still have 2 more spaces to move, 1 and 2. And I think with the next action, we should be actually able to move 1, 2, 3. I think this still counts to be adjacent. So I really want to end my movement either here, or maybe we'll move a little bit further. I still have 1 more action left, but I think I want to interact with that garbage pile. So let's have a look at that card, and that's this one here. Oh, then you may discard the top card of the search deck. Why would we do that? I mean, we can still search, but why would we discard the top card of the search deck? Maybe because we want to create something, because maybe because of that activate here, to gain 1 discarded search card. Exactly, of course, because of this, simply to get something into the discard pile. Yeah, okay, now I get it. So yeah, we are going to search, and we are going to search with our Fortitude, which is definitely a good thing, because again, that's our forte. Currently there aren't any search tokens on this card. We are simply rolling 3 dice, and yeah, it's relatively simple to search in this case. Okay, these are simply 3 successors, so I can't use any of my focus. I will not gain any focus tokens, but that's still okay. We are not losing any of those because there are no search tokens, only because that's the first time we are searching this feature here. So this very first one allows us to draw a search card. So that's what we got, a Poxoid Platter. Sounds disgusting, but let's see about this. It's a consumable. It has a range of 5. Choose an enemy within range. Deal 2 damage to the chosen enemy and 1 damage to each enemy adjacent to the chosen enemy. That's not terrible. That's really cool. Yeah, we will totally get that for sure. And yeah, we can keep it. Not sure if there is a hand limit. On my little player aid, it tells that you can have up to 2 trinkets or so, but I think this is only true for equipment cards, which you typically get in the campaign. But we are not done yet because we still have 2 more things to resolve here. In this case, for every other success, we are getting 1 more supply, and the supply goes into a common pool so everyone in the party can use it. Also something that you tend to forget the first time you play that. Again, it's mentioned somewhere in the rules, but not necessarily at the location where you need it to be. But again, maybe that's only me. I'm fine. In the end, I still learned the game. And okay, we have interacted. Then you may discard the top card of the search deck, and I think let's totally do that just to see what it is, because when this one activates, we could gain this card. It could be something terrible, and it's an ancient scroll which we could get. Not sure if I have seen this already. We can use it, change up to 2 alter dice to results of your choice. Nice. That's nice. Or we can exhaust it. Basically, we can keep using it to roll 1 alter die. That's also nice. So first we can exhaust it. And if you're still not happy, we can then finally use it. And use really means removing it to really then change 2 alter dice to results of your choice. That's not bad. Of course, right now it's still in the discard pile, but I will take it anyway because it will activate in a second. And I guess that's already the end of our hero turn, right? Yeah, we have moved 2 times and we have interacted. We can still play feats, but right now, yeah, let's not do that. Let's simply call it a hero turn, though we are drawing a card. So let's see what we get. Again, I don't know these. That's an ongoing action using shadows. Play this on a hero within range. This will be me. We can use it again. This means we are removing it from, not from the game, but discarding it. Move up to 3 spaces and gain 2 armor tokens. That's nice. Okay, we do have movement cards in our hand, and we can simply exhaust it to gain 1 armor token. Oh boy, that's a nasty one. Cool. I like the character a lot already. That's really insane. Next, we would move into the threat turn. There is no threat in our threat area because we haven't opened a door, which will change most likely during my next round also, because I have to keep open doors because I need to find those features. So we are moving to Gert. That's a scheme card. Again, we have to either we don't have an armor token, so we have to resist with a 3, and there we rolling 2 dice actually, right? Yep. So let's see, we need 3 successes. Otherwise, basically every success we are not rolling, we take a wound. Easy as that. And these are 2 successes, nothing I can do about it. So there are no, I don't have any real rerolls. I could have used one of my supplies, but I really had to announce it before I actually rolled. So I will also not take it back here. So we are simply sucking it up. So we are at 2 out of 14, which is kind of okay. We are not triggering the special ability because we don't have any earth tokens there. So yeah, last thing to do for the villain is to draw the next villain card. That's Spreading Stench. Each character must resist 3. Each character must add 2 to this difficulty if there are more enemies than characters in the room. Right now there aren't any enemies, so it's a simple 3. And again, that's our strong suit, so let's hope for the best and roll some more dice. Again, that's the Fortitude, right? Yeah. 3 dice. Okay, yeah, I think we are going to spend one of our focus tokens here. Those are 3 successes. We needed a 3, which means we are not taking any wounds. And for resist, we are not allowed to spend any armor tokens or use our base defense only for attack and I think inflict. Those are the two tests that we can really use our natural and also the defense tokens accordingly. And I was confused. I still believe we need to find the altar room because the quest cards will tell you when you are able to cash it. And I think you have to do that in the altar room. So yes, I have to keep moving. I cannot simply camp here and whatever, walk around the 3 nearest room and hope for the best cards. No, I really still have to find the altar. Okay, we still don't have a clue card, so we can simply pass over this, right? Yeah, that's the case. We can still not discard any armor tokens. We are not in the room. We don't have the symbol for the rune die, so we can move on to the garbage heap. And because we are next to it, each or hero adjacent to this feature may place 1 search token on this card to gain 1 discarded search card. So I think that's kind of okay. So we are placing the next search token next to it. So searching in this room gets more difficult. For each search token that's next to this feature, we have to remove 1 success from our test when we are searching there. So that's definitely a bummer, but I think it's still okay. We are taking this ancient scroll into our possession. I really like that a lot. And because we are next to the feature, we are also going for the activate effect of the garbage heap here, which says a hero adjacent to the attached feature may draw a card from the clue deck. Then if a hero takes control of a clue, discard this card. So yeah, let's totally do that. And here we have found a torn map. When revealed, a hero may take control of this card. Okay. While adjacent to the altar, so we have to find the altar, that's how I remember this, you may discard this card along with a matching copy of Torn Map. So there is a second copy of this card in this quest deck, or this clue deck. I think it's also 10-ish cards, if I recall that correctly, to place 1 quest token on the quest rules card. And that's what we need in order to win this game. Then we still have to make it back to the stairs in order to win. But I think, yeah, let's see about that. For now, I will totally get control of this torn map for sure, which also means we have to discard, this quest card here. We can still interact with the garbage heap, but it doesn't give us any more of those clues. So this is now gone for good. But again, I don't think that we want to spend a hell of a lot of time in this room anymore. With 2 search tokens here, that's really already pretty tough to find stuff there. Still, I could discard search tokens and whatever, discard those, but again, I want to find my clues in order to make it back to the stairs and whatnot in order to survive and win this scenario. And that's pretty much the end of the round. But I will end my playthrough for today. I really hope you enjoyed it so far. Not a lot has happened. That's really maybe of a problem with a solo player experience. You're not meeting a lot of enemies, especially if you have a fighty character like here. At least that's my understanding so far, because we were able to take this Raglander out relatively easily. But again, we are opening new doors. Traps could happen, events could happen. Maybe Gerd might spawn a minion or 2. We could find a lurker in the search deck, for example. So sooner or later we'll definitely see some more actions. And again, ultimately we may run out of time in respect to this villain deck here, and then Gerd will show up and will definitely make our lives relatively tough. Again, I really hope you enjoyed it so far. Make me aware of any rule scoofs, and again, I will try to correct those as much as I can during my next video. A huge shout out to all of my patrons out there. Really do appreciate all your support. If you want to support my channel, you will find a link to my page on Patreon. And you can also join my community here on YouTube. Like and subscribe. This greatly helps me definitely growing my channel and whatnot. And yeah, really hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.